This is the Bishop of Motivation. Panagili said, when you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you've ever dreamed yourself to be. This is the Bishop of Motivation.
This is the Bishop of Motivation, Spence, Finlayson. Welcome to In Search of Inspiration. You know, inspiration is all around us on this universe. We don't have to look very far. As a matter of fact, we go to beautiful Jamaica and the birthplace of Robert Nesta Marley for our dose of inspiration for this episode. I had the privilege of interviewing two of Jamaica's singing superstars, Luciano and Shaggy, at the Hilton Hotel in Kingston for my Bahamas-based international motivational television show, Dare to Be Great, a few years ago. But I'm saddened to say that I've never met the one and only Robert Nesta Marley. I was first introduced to Bob Marley's music in a big way by my college roommate and later my benefactor, Roland Jackson Sr. from the Cayman Islands, while we were students at the Bahamas Hotel Training College from 1975 to 1977. Jackson knew all of Bob Marley's songs and even his dance moves. I must admit that I was never a great dancer. I've been told by close friends that I danced like the Temptations, my all-time favorite singing group. So my buddy Roland Jackson became a star in Nassau in the local clubs with his ability to dance reggae songs. Bob Marley was born on February 6, 1945 to Cedella Marley when she was 18. His early life was spent in the rural community of 9 Miles, which was nestled in the mountainous terrain of the parish of St. Anne. Norval and Cedella married in 1945, but Captain Marley's family did not approve of the union. While barely in his teens, Bob Marley left St. Anne and returned to Kingston and eventually settled in Trenchtown, aptly named because it was built over a sewage trench. It was a low-income community which was comprised of squatter settlements and government yards developments that housed a minimum of 4 families. Bob earned the respectable nickname of Tough Gun for his ability to defend himself against Trenchtown's rude boys and bad men with formidable fighting skills. Trenchtown was also culturally rich, where Bob Marley was able to hone his musical gifts and talents. Trenchtown was a lifelong source of inspiration for him, and he immortalized Trenchtown in his songs No Woman, No Cry, which is one of my favorite Bob Marley tunes, along with Could You Be Love, Get Up, Stand Up, and We're Jamming. In the early 1950s, the island of Jamaica's music industry was beginning to take shape, and its development gave birth to an indigenous popular music form that was called ska, which was an interpretation of American soul and R&B. Bob met another aspiring singer named Desmond Dekker at the age of 16, who would go on to top the UK charts in 1969 with his single Israelites, which is played very often on the Bahamas' own government station, Radio ZNS. Dekker then introduced Bob Marley to another young singer, Jimmy Cliff, who later starred in the immortal Jamaican film, The Harder They Come. And he had a huge hit with the song Many Rivers to Cross, which is a very inspirational song, and I still play it today from time to time to get some inspiration and motivation. In 1963, Bob Marley and his childhood friend Neville Livingston, also known as Bunny Wailer, began attending vocal classes by Trenchtown resident Joe Higgs, a successful singer who mentored many young singers in the principles of rhythm, harmony, and melody. In his Trenchtown yard, Higgs introduced Bob and Bunny to Peter McIntosh. So the formation of a vocal group, the Wailing Wailers, was a natural progression. Higgs played a pivotal role in guiding their musical direction. The other members of the Wailing Wailers included Junior Brathwaite, Beverly Kelso, and Cherry, but they departed after just a few recording sessions. By the mid-60s, the jaunty ska beat had metamorphosized itself into a slower-paced, rock-steady sound, which soon gave way to Jamaica's signature reggae rhythm around 1968. In 1966, Cedella Booker decided to relocate to Delaware, and that same year, Bob Marley and Rita Anderson were joined in holy matrimony. While Bob was away from his beloved Jamaica, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie visited the island in April of 1966, and his visit to Jamaica had a huge impact on Bob and Rita. Bob then adopted the Rastafarian way of life and began wearing his hair in dreadlocks. Bob Marley went to Sweden to collaborate on a film score with American singer Johnny Nash, who later recorded the hit song, I Can See Clearly Now. Now, after securing a contract with CBS record label in 1972, they met with more disappointment, as CBS had little faith in Marley and the Wailers and abruptly abandoned the group in London while they were promoting their single, Reggae on Broadway. Bob Marley could have easily given up and returned to his native Jamaica, but he was determined to succeed, and he paid a chance visit to the London office of Island Records, and the result was a meeting with the label founder, Chris Blackwell. Chris Blackwell advanced the group £4,000 to record an album, which was an unheard of sum to be given to a Jamaican act back in the day. I had the good fortune of meeting Chris Blackwell here in Nassau while he operated the famous Compass Point recording studio, where my nephew, Douglas Wimbish from Hartford, Connecticut, a top bass guitarist, performed as a studio musician for Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones when they recorded here in Nassau. Jimmy Cliff, who was Island Records' top reggae star, left the label. So Chris Blackwell had Bob Marley in his sight as the artist to replace him and fill the void and attract an audience primed for rock music. Chris Blackwell reportedly said, I was dealing with rock music and I felt that it would really be a way to break Jamaican music. But you needed someone who could be that image. When Bob Marley walked in, he was that image. End of quote from Chris Blackwell. They delivered their Catch a Fire album in 1973 to extensive international media fanfare. Tours of Great Britain and the United States were quickly arranged, and the life of Bob Marley was forever changed. Bob Marley was on his way to greatness. They even opened for a relatively unknown Bruce the Boss Springsteen in New York City. They even toured with the legendary Sly and the Family Stone, who were at their peak in the early 1970s with hits like I Want to Take You Higher, Family Affair, and Dance to the Music. But the Wailers were removed just after 4 dates because the riveting performances that they gave reportedly upstaged the headliner. Following the successful Catch a Fire tour, the Wailers promptly recorded their second album for Island Records called Burnin', which was released in October of 1973. Their timeless anthem of insurgency, Get Up, Stand Up, came from this album along with I Shot the Sheriff, which was later recorded by Eric Clapton, which went on to be the top of the Billboard Hot 100 in 1974 and elevated Bob Marley's international profile. In the Caribbean, Bob Marley achieved truly superstar status. When he came to Nassau, Bahamas to perform in concert at the old Queen Elizabeth Sports Center, huge crowds attended and the Rastafarian movement took root. Every young person wanted dreadlocks like Bob Marley, and they all knew the lyrics to all of his songs. And not only the hits, but all of his songs. His third album for Island Records was released in October of 1975 called Natty Dread, and it was the first one that was credited to Bob Marley and the Wailers. The harmonies of Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer, who had left the group, were replaced with the soulfulness of the I-Threes, Rita Marley, Marsha Griffiths, and Judy Mowat. Natty Dread was a commercial as well as a critical success, as it peaked to number 44 on Billboard's Black Albums chart and number 92 on the Pop Album chart. Natty Dread album was characterized by spirituality and social conscious lyrics and included a rousing bass-influenced celebration of Lively Up Yourself, which Bob Marley used to open many of his concerts. The following year, Bob Marley began a very successful European tour, in support of his Naughty Dread album, which included 2 nights at London's Lyceum Theatre. He catapulted into international stardom in 1976 with the release of Rastaman Vibration, his only album to reach the top Billboard 200, peaking at number 8. Rastaman Vibration presented a clear understanding of Rastafari teachings to the mainstream audience that was now attentively listening to Bob. His influence upon various populations remained unparalleled, irrespective of race, color, or creed. He was regarded as a global reggae ambassador who had internationally popularized Rastafarian beliefs. I believe that Robert Nesta Marley single-handedly changed the musical landscape with reggae, and he inspired millions in the process. He is an icon who only lived a short time on this earth. While living in London, he recorded Exodus album, which called for more social change, the movement of Jah people, incorporating spiritual and political concerns into the amalgam of reggae, rock, and soul funk. And so now, I end this show with a part of the address by the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Portia Simpson Miller, during a National Heroes Day, and I quote, she said, "We all know that Jamaica has for a long time been identified with world class, and leading entertainment as the natural mystic of reggae has held sway in every corner of the globe. The names of Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Jimmy Cliff, and so many other Jamaican artists have been placed on the tongues of successive generations of diverse nationalities. Let us believe, live, and declare the words of national hero, the right excellent Norman Washington Manley, who said, and I quote, 'I affirm of Jamaica that we are a great people. Out of the past of fire, suffering, and neglect, the human spirit has survived, patient, strong, and quick to anger, quick to forgive, lusty and vigorous, but with deep reserves of loyalty, love, and deep capacity for steadiness under the stress, for joy in all things that make life blessed and good.' This is the positive story of the Jamaican people. This is our heritage. This is the essence of Jamaica to the world, the land we love. One love.